Hi everyone, welcome to Master of Biology, my video channel. Today we're going to see about fundamental unit of life for class 9. So this is the first video for class 9. So we're going to see about fundamental unit of life. So cell is the fundamental unit of life. So you all know what is cell. It is defined as the structural and functional unit of life. It is a fundamental unit of life. All living organisms are made up of millions of cells. So let us see some of the discoveries. History of cells. So in 1665, Robert Hooke discovered cells. Okay, in his very old microscope, crude microscope, he saw a piece of bark where he saw some structures and named it as cells. It was like a honeycomb for him. So he saw many compartment like cells in the bark. So Robert Hooke discovered cell in 1665. Then in 1674, Anton von Leeuwenhoek he studied about the living cells. Then 1831, Robert Brown discovered nucleus inside the cell. Okay, nucleus very important component of the cell. It controls and coordinates all the functions of the cell. So that nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown. Then in 1838, two persons by name Schleiden and Schwann, they proposed cell theory. So cell theory was given by Schleiden and Schwann. And 1855, Rudolf Virchow. He just wrote a book about cells by name Omnis e Cellulae. So this is a brief history about cell. Okay, now we'll see about unicellular and multicellular organisms. Cells that are made up of single cell are called unicellular organisms. So you know various examples. Amoeba, okay, paramecium, euglena, chlamydomonas. These are all examples for unicellular organisms, organisms that have single cell. But in spite of single cell, they were able to perform all the functions. A single cell is capable of doing all the functions. Amoeba was able to feed on its prey. Amoeba was able to move with the help of pseudopodia. So everything was done by single cell. Okay, so the single cell had the total potentiality for survival. So all these organisms were able to survive with single cell. At the time of reproduction, the cell started dividing, fission. Okay, so doesn't matter just because of single cell, they didn't face any difficulty. They're able to do normal functions. They're able to eat, they're able to move here and there, they're able to reproduce. Okay, they were excreting. So all sort of things were happening. So these are all examples of unicellular organisms. More than one cells. Organisms that have more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Okay, so many number of multicellular organisms are there in plants, animals. Okay, human beings are multicellular. All animals belong to multicellular. Okay, plants, herbs, shrubs, trees. So many number of organisms are multicellular. More than one cell. Such organisms are called multicellular. Okay, plants, animals, human beings. Right. So we'll see about the various shapes and size of cells. So now let us see the shape and size of the cells. Okay. However, cells cannot be seen with the naked eyes. We need microscope to study the cells. We use two kinds of microscopes, light microscope and electron microscope. So we need these two microscopes to study cells. The study of cells is called cytology. Cytology, cytology. To study cells, definitely we need microscopes, light microscope or copper microscope, which is normally used in schools, colleges, laboratories, and little high sophisticated microscope is electron microscope, where you can see further clear details about microorganisms and their specialized structures. So shape and size of the cells. You all know amoeba. Amoeba has an irregular shape. It can change its shape as it likes. Irregular shape. Even in our body, the white blood cells doesn't have a proper shape. So actually, the shape and size are due to specific functions of cells. Here, let us see some of the specialized cells. Smallest cell. It's also known as PPLO or mycoplasma, smallest cell. Expansion of PPLO, I have written there. Pleuropneumonia-like organism. Pleuropneumonia-like organism. Smallest cell. And the largest cell is ostrich egg cell. Ostrich egg cell, largest cell. Longest is nerve cell. Okay, nerve cell, which has a head-like structure and a long tail, resembles like a kite. It is a very long cell, and when you carefully observe, the shape also differs. Normally, or generally speaking, cells will be spherical in shape, but here we see different shapes in cells. Nerve cell is one such cell, it has a different shape, and even the sperm cell, male gamete, is of different shape, having head, neck, and tail. So these are all examples of different shape of cells. Okay, the smallest cell. Okay, based on the size, the smallest cell is PPL or mycoplasma. The longest cell is nerve cell. Largest cell is ostrich egg cell. You know, these cells are being measured in terms of microns. Microns are symbolized as mu m. I have written there. That is the Greek letter mu, millimicrons, mu m. So what is that micron? 1,000th of a millimeter. So you have a special micrometer or micrometry which you use in microscope to measure the cells. So cells are being measured by microns. Okay. So now let us see about prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes. Karyo. Karyo means nucleus. Pro means primitive. The organisms which have primitive nucleus. Okay. So in that nucleus, there won't be any nuclear membrane, no nucleolus, and such organisms don't have membrane-bound organelles, and they are less than 5 microns. Okay. So membrane-bound organelles are absent. Nucleus present, even though it is present, it is very poorly developed. There is no nuclear membrane, there is no nucleolus. Hence, it is also known as nucleoid, or it is also called incipient nucleus. Okay, it is poorly developed, no nuclear membrane, no nucleolus, hence it has a name nucleoid, very primitive nucleus. And cell organelles, you know, there are various cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus. So these cell organelles, even though present, they won't be surrounded by a cell membrane. So no membrane bound organelles. So these are all very primitive forms, simple forms, primitive forms. So they are known as prokaryotes. Okay, they are less than 5 millimicrons. Eukaryotes. EU stands for true. True nucleus. Karyo means nucleus. Organisms that have true nucleus. True nucleus in the sense It has nuclear membrane, it has nucleolus. Both will be present. So it's a well-defined nucleus. And organelles. Organelles also will be surrounded by a membrane. So it has membrane-bound organelles, and it is more than 5 millimicrons. Right. So these are some important differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So hope you enjoyed this video. In my next video, I'll talk more about the cell organelles and their functions. Thank you.